All right, guys. I just seen that had to be the most corrupt game I have ever seen in a long time between the U.S. and Uruguay. Listen. I think there's like 7 minutes left in the game. Panama just scored another goal against Bolivia. It's 3-1. It's over. It is what it is, right? Listen, guys. Unfortunately, guys, if you have never seen a accountable game in your life, well, this is an introduction because this is how these games go. These are how these games and these South American games, this is how it goes. This is how it goes. And unfortunately, we were on the receiving end of it. Even though we are the host nation, even though the majority of our games are in the United States, right? We're the host nation. It is clear as all day, clear as all fuck. Even if you are a hater of the U.S., aka L Tree fans, even if you are a hater, you have to acknowledge that this game was rigged. This game was absolutely, positively rigged. This was some of the worst officiating I have ever seen. Barely any yellow cards, and if there were any yellow cards, it was going to go to us. The fouls were so fucking blatant and so intentional that I'm like, how are these Uruguayans, how are they not getting any yellows? How are we getting all the yellows for some of the softest fucking fouling shit I've ever seen? But yet when it comes to these Uruguayans making like blatant, hardcore fouls to a point where players are injured. Matter of fact, we had a couple players that received injuries and not one of them got a fucking yellow. But when it came to us, oh yeah, we're getting the yellow for it. It was complete and utter bullshit. Now listen, Uruguay is a good team. They're a very good team. And Uruguay, there's a great chance that they can end up winning the Copa America. But the United States dominated this game. Don't get twisted. They dominated they dominated Uruguay. And it pisses me off because now, even though we lost 0-1 on a freaking free kick where that player was clearly offside, and they want to say no, his knee was good. The dude was blatant. It was blatant offsides, and yet somehow in some way, when we have VAR, right, when we can review the goddamn play, they just took one replay of it and they said, that's good. Are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. And this is not just a Copa America issue. This is also an issue that's been going on with the Euros. Just blatant fucking cheating. But it didn't matter anyway. Because even if we would have won this game against Uruguay, we would have won this game. Panama scored 3 goals. We didn't need Panama to score that many goals. So the United States, they would probably have to score 2 goals themselves at least. I believe they have to score at least 2 goals in order for them to be and Panama. And no, I think around 2 or 3 goals. Let's just say 2 to 3 goals in order for the United States to move on. Why? Because that first game where against Bolivia, you needed to score at least 3 to 4 goals that game. You only scored 2. And then, of course, the Panama game happened, which was a complete and utter shit show. Greg Berhalter should be fired. Like, we're grouped. We're the first host nation of the Copa America that's going to be grouped home. He needs to go. But because of the way the United States damn near dominated Uruguay for this game, he's going to keep his job. Because honestly, yes, this was the best job I have ever seen. This is the best I've ever seen the U.S. play against a top-tier opponent since England in the 22 World Cup, back when guess what? That score was a fucking draw. And the United States outplayed England that game. So, yes, from our midfield, from our defense, the way that we're keeping up the pace and trying to create chances. It was spectacular against England. I would even say against Brazil, it was a phenomenal, fun match where that score was 0-0. And even in this match, again, where I thought we created more chances than Uruguay. We definitely created more chances than Uruguay. We dominated the first half, but guess what the fuck happened? It doesn't matter if you don't have the players that can put the ball in the back of the net. And that's what we just don't have, guys. We don't have guys that we have players that can create. We have players that can create, but we don't have players that can finish. That's the problem. Balogun is our best finisher, and besides Balogun, probably would be Pulisic, and then that's it. We don't have anybody else that is a great finisher. And I really wouldn't even call Balogun a great finisher. He's good, right? Christian Pulisic, we all know what he can do on the wing. Gio Reyna's more of a. I mean, I guess you can say he can play on the wing a little bit, but he's really more of a midfield. He's really more of a midfield role. That's a very, very good attacker that can also finish as well. But I wouldn't necessarily say that he's an elite. Or hell, I wouldn't even really say that he's great. He's maybe solid. He's solid. I wouldn't even really say he's good. I think he's solid. But that's the problem. We don't have the finishers. We don't. I mean, and that's for the last 2 to 3 years. That's what we've been missing. A number 9 that we can depend on. A number 9 that we can heavily depend on. And besides Balogun, we don't have anybody else. It's not Josh Sargent. It's definitely not Ricardo Pepi. And we just don't have it. We don't have it. Haji Wright? I don't know. I don't know. So it is what it is, guys. Yes, this match was corrupt. Yes, corrupt, rigged, no matter what you want to say. But the fact of the matter is that the first 2 games, the U.S. played like absolute dog water. They played like absolute dog water. And it goes to question, why didn't we play like this against those 2 opponents? Why? Why didn't we play like this? In one of the most important tournaments in U.S. history, why didn't we play with that sort of intensity like we did against Uruguay and like we did against Brazil? Why didn't we play like that against Bolivia and against Panama? Even when we were down 10 men, we had nowhere near the intensity, nowhere near. I mean, we just lacked pride. Why? So it's just like this tournament was a shit show from Tim Weah to Greg Berhalter, from Pulisic to McKennie's comments and to Yunus Musa. Don't even get me started on Musa. I thought today Musa did not play. He did not play well. I know the commentators were saying he played well. I didn't think Yunus Musa played well. Chris Richards getting banged up, Scally being hurt, Matt Turner. It's just Matt Turner again. I mean, it's just the same shit over and over again, guys, with this U.S. team. So the most talented generation in U.S. history and nothing to show for it. Oh, but CONCACAF championships. Oh, yeah, we can win a Nations League and a Gold Cup. That's our standard. But you know who else was like that? The fucking Mexicans. El Tri was like that for years. The best that they can do was, I think, a semifinals in the Copa America or the quarterfinals in 2014. That's the best they can do. That's the best they can show for. But fuck, at least they made it to the quarterfinals of a World Cup. What have we done in the World Cup? What have we done? I mean, the best thing we did was maybe quarterfinals in 2002. That was it. This is our. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is our golden generation. But most talented core we've ever had. What do we have to show for it? A round of 16 eggs in the World Cup. And being grouped in the fucking Copa America as a host nation. Like Greg, and the funny part is, Greg Berhalter is going to be the coach. You know he's going to be the coach of the team. So like I said, guys, I mean, we'll see what happens. But if he's not fired in the next 2 to 3 months, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I don't care what people call me disloyal, call me fair weather. I don't give a shit. I've seen this too many times, and I'm done. If the U.S. don't want to take this seriously, then I'm not gonna take you seriously. I'm not gonna take this. If the Federation doesn't want to take this shit seriously, and they don't want to prepare that much for the 2026 World Cup, I'm not gonna take this shit seriously then, because I'm not gonna keep wasting my time watching this type of shit where we play subpar against mediocre competition, and then we rise up and play very nicely against some of the best competition. But the problem is that the score ends up being 0-0, or we end up losing, even though we play well, because we don't either have the right tactics, or we don't have the finishers. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired, right? I'm tired of it. I'm so fucking tired of it. We have not gotten any better in the last 3 to 4 years, and it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. The U.S. are grouped along with fucking Mexico, and all we have to show for it is Greg Berhalter coming back and being our head coach for 26.